You're listening to the Patriot Nation Podcast.
All right, welcome into another edition of the Patriot Nation Podcast. As always, a proud member of the CLNS group of podcasts. Download, subscribe to all of those shows, especially on the Patriots Press Pass YouTube channel. Can't talk tonight. And unfortunately, I wish I couldn't see tonight either, because what a horrendous football game by the Patriots. A game they should have won. A game there's no reason they should have lost, if not for the not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 turnovers, including 2 inside the 5-yard line. Just absolutely embarrassing football from the Patriots on Sunday. And we get to talk about it tonight. Aren't you so excited, man?
I'm so excited. Look, if you came to us Thursday and said the Patriots are going to have 369 yards of total offense, outgaining Pittsburgh by 166 yards, they're only going to punt once. They're going to have 33 minutes of possession, so they're going to win the possession battle. And they're going to go 6 of 13 on third down and also 4 of 5 on fourth down. I'm telling you, the Patriots are winning this game by multiple scores.
Mm-hmm.
And they are possibly, 6 inches away from putting themselves in that position today. And it's situational execution. The Patriots beat the Steelers and then beat themselves today is really what happened. And they gave it right back to Pittsburgh. And one of those losses that just leaves a pit in your stomach, I think, because you just handed the game away.
Yeah, and you just feel like you don't feel good about anything coming out of this win, coming out of this loss. I mean, you feel bad about everything. And listen, it's one of those things, for me at least, where I look at it and say, I almost want to take 0 positives away. There are a few positives that we'll talk about, but you just feel so terrible about the way the game went down and about the performance by everyone, really, and you just kind of sit there and say, like, man, like, if we just, if 3 plays go differently, the Patriots win by 14 points. That's and that's really what you come down to. But again, it's, to your point, it's situational execution. And it's not about, like, this is, to me at least, this is who you are. This is the team that you are. Yes, I know that they outgained them. I know that they were close and they had some really close plays. But at the end of the day, this is where you are. This is the talent that you have, unfortunately, and you're just not ready yet. And that's why everyone talked about playoffs. I'm like, they're not ready for the playoffs. And I think it's pretty clear today, watching this game, they're definitely not ready for the playoffs. And, they gotta be able to win first. They may not even get the. No, I was going to say they might not get the 5, but that's maybe a little overblown. But they might not get the 5 wins.
They just got to get out of their own way. They have to learn to do that. Which, this is I think a young team, a new coach. And, like, we've seen this with Patriots teams before. Sometimes they start the year looking awful, and then, like, October, they figure out how to get out of their own way, and they start playing well. And I hope that's what this group is able to do. Because, like, guys, this is not an untalented team. This isn't like, a couple of years ago where it's like there's nothing here. I don't think quite as bad as you coming out of this, largely because I think Drake May played very well for large stretches of this game. Yeah. And, like, if you have a quarterback, you can play in this league, you can win in this league. But the situational execution, I think we just got to start chronologically here. It's the first 4 drives of this game. Patriots win the coin toss and decide to take the ball, which I love.
What are you doing, Mike?
I love that because we saw this last week. The Patriots were able to march down the field and score, play with a lead, and dictate that game to Miami from the start. And they had the opportunity to do that here. Except 3 plays into the game, you fumble the ball away. Ramondre Stevenson, that'll probably end up being a whole bucket of this show tonight. I don't know how much there is to say, except you just can't fumble the ball. It just can't happen.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh goes down and scores a touchdown. May gets sacked on the next drive, and you have to punt. And then Pittsburgh goes down and scores another touchdown. Pittsburgh's offense basically goes dormant from there until like the back half of the fourth quarter. So like overall, the defense played well, but the start of this game, poor offensive line play,
Yeah.
turnovers, and the defense getting gashed, and you're down 14-0, and you just got off the bus.
Right. Yeah, I saw someone say the Patriots allowed 1 yard of offense in the third quarter. You know, but by then it was too late. You know, by then it was, and your offense, the hard thing is that for as poor as they played in the first quarter, and really the whole first half, for as poor as they played in the entire first half, you look at it and you're at the goal line, you know, first and goal at the 3-yard line after an offsides penalty, and you're thinking, we have 3 timeouts left. First and goal from the 3, we're going to score a touchdown, or at the very least kick a field goal. And you throw it 3 times, which I think is completely insane that you throw it 3 times. I don't understand how you don't run once from the 3-yard line. And Drake May's pass ends up getting tipped to the line, and it gets picked off. Now, I saw somebody say that it wasn't a great throw. Maybe it was Chris Sims said it wasn't a great throw. He should have put a little bit more arc on to try to get it to the corner, back corner of the end zone. Maybe. I'm not going to fault him too much for that throw. I thought Booty was wide open, and if the ball doesn't get tipped, it gets to him, and it's a touchdown. And they made a nice play. Sometimes that happens.
Well, we talk about the situational football. You lose the beginning of this game despite making a concerted effort to go out and win from the opening drive.
Yep.
And then you kill yourself in the middle 8 with nothing but self-inflicted errors. I definitely question not running it at all down near the goal line. I think it's the first play, May gets hit and smacks his head real good against the turf.
Yep.
They had a lot of timeouts. I definitely think there was a little bit of you're not going to call a timeout too to reset him here. If you're going to ask him to throw, I just think they could have managed that whole situation better. All of that said, you get a pass on third down to an open receiver, and you don't execute it. And this is, I'm not going to blame May too much for the tipped balls, but what I will say is this: I've seen more tipped balls in the last 5 years here with Drake May and Mac Jones, and Bailey Zappi and Cam Newton that I feel like I ever saw with Tom Brady, and I think that alone tells me there is at least some quarterback skill element involved here. And I don't think it's all about how you throw it. I think part of this is the mental. It's hard to knock down one of Tom Brady's passes because he's going to look at the left side of the field until he throws to the right side of the field, and the linemen have no idea what's coming. May's not there yet. This is start. Right. We're not even a full 16, 17 starts in for him yet. But all right, that's how he is. He throws line drives when he's down there. He stares down his throws a little bit in the red zone. And when that happens, this is going to happen to you. And you just you have to find a way to come away with points from that possession. You simply have to. There is no other way to do that. And then to get a pick coming out of the half, really good defense there. Great sequence opening the half.
Mm-hmm.
To get down to the goal line and to fumble that ball away as you were going in. I mean, that's the worst play of the day right there. Completely and totally inexcusable after you've already fumbled once, going into the goal line, going into the end zone to tie the game, to lose it. It cannot happen. It just can't. And I don't know what's going on with Ramondre. I feel for him to a degree here because I don't think this is an effort thing. He's not going out there trying to sabotage things.
Right.
But he put the ball in the turf 7 times in his first 3 seasons in the NFL. He's put the ball on the ground 9 times in the last 18 games. Something has to change, man.
Right.
This can't keep going. It just can't. Plays like that, if this team was good and going to be in the playoffs, days like today, plays like the ones Ramondre did not make, can be the difference between hosting playoff games, not winning a division, and not crucial seeding for playoffs. You just can't have that. These plays matter. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not an exhibition game, man.
And the hard part about it is that you feel listen, Antonio Gibson fumbles too, right? However, the Antonio Gibson fumble, I feel like, was a really nice play by what's his name? I don't even know who made the hit, to be honest with you, but by the Steelers. He comes in low, he flies in, he gets his helmet or shoulder on the ball, and the ball comes out. Right? Was it Watt that hit him? But it's one of those things where like those plays happen. The issue that I have is the Mondre one. It always feels like someone's coming from behind and like touching the ball and it's coming out. It's not getting punched out. There's not someone with really hard contact and the ball comes out. Someone's just sticking their hand out and knocking it away. And it's just like, what are you doing? Like, that to me was just, I was sickened by that, because you just look at it and say, how do you fumble the ball in that situation? And again, it's not a big hit. It's not a, whatever, guy put his head on the ball or whatever, but like, that's the type of stuff that can't happen.
Yeah. Well, I will say with Gibson, like, we hadn't really seen it in New England, but he's had fumble issues before. He had 6 in 2021. He had 4 in 2023. So 2 of those years in Washington, he was pretty fumble prone. And like, that was one of the things in the back of my head this year. It's like, oh man, we haven't really seen that in New England, but maybe that rears its ugly head again. And then here it is today. You got to give some credit to the defense, I think, on all of the fumbles today. Pittsburgh defense was very opportunistic there. But like, it's not, put it this way, it's not good when you have to bench your starting running back because he has this many fumbling issues. And the backup that you signed to have the backup is also a guy's fumble prone. Meanwhile, the guy you just used a top 40 pick on is on the bench.
What? I mean, you know why he's on the bench, right?
Like, can't pass block?
Can't pass block, can't run.
Has no vision.
Has zero vision. Can't pass block. Hasn't generated any juice catching the ball out of the backfield. Looks slow on kick returns. I just like, I don't see it. What happened to the guy that we saw in training camp and in preseason? He's gone. I don't know if he's thinking too much. I don't know if he's really not as fast as we thought he was. I don't know, but everyone's screaming for the fantasy football community is screaming for TreVeyon Henderson. And I'm like, well, if you're screaming for TreVeyon Henderson, you clearly haven't been watching the games, because the kid can't play right now. He just can't do it. And, I want him out there. I want him getting snaps and getting carries, but like, his long was 5 yards today. Right. And the play to me that just epitomizes who he is was after the Pop Douglas catch, the other Pop Douglas catch, where Pop, looked like he made a nice play to avoid after a 5-yard penalty, I think, on, I don't know who was on. I'm not sure who was on, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter. But Page got pushed back. It was like 1st and 15. Pop catches that pass, kind of ducks under a hit, and it ends up his knees down. So now it's like 2nd and 8. And you get him on a toss outside. And you have, I think it was a tight end out there on a corner. It was
Will Campbell.
It was Will Campbell. Okay, fine. So you have Will Campbell one-on-one against a defensive back. And so all I'm looking at is just wait for Campbell to make a block. And then have some vision and see where his block's going to take him. And instead of letting Campbell block him, he just ran directly into the guy. It's, what are you doing? Yeah. There's nobody else out there. That should have gone for freaking 40 yards. And instead, you're just running directly into the defender that's there. It's just like, what is wrong with you, guy? So that's the frustrating part for me with him.
I will say that play to me was one I kind of saw on both ends. Like, I didn't think that TreVeyon Henderson did a good job there. And I was also watching Will Campbell, like you're out in space. Like, you got to get on this dude and block him. Like, I thought he was a little bit too passive about getting to the corner to block him too, which is frustrating. It probably doesn't also help that while all of this was going on, there's the Bears Cowboys game where Luther Burden's going off for 100 yards and a touchdown. Would love that today.
Luther Burden also like everything, he had an 80-yard touchdown. He had a 70-yard touchdown catch or something like that on a flea flicker. So like,
well, they could have used an explosive play like that, because that's the other issue I think with this Patriots team right now is like the team is just going to play a ton of zone against you, and
they have a
basically
fast guy at receiver.
Well, they have one. Play. He's not playing. Yeah, you've got a drive of 15 plays for a touchdown that you're able to capitalize on, and you've got a drive of 17 plays that ends in a pick at the goal line. And like, it's just so hard to live that way. You need to generate explosive plays, and this team doesn't have that guy right now. And like, this is still an improvement over what they've had. Like 369 yards, 250 passing yards, a ton of yards on the ground. Like, this is an improvement over what it has been because they're able to get teams into soft zones, and like May has generally been pretty good, but you need something, some kind of home run threat in there. And the offense largely just has not, like, their home run threat has been that one long play to Ramondre, and like right now you don't trust to put Ramondre on the field anyway, so it's a tough spot for you. It forces you to live this way where it just gives the defense so many opportunities to make plays. And it's just frustrating. I mean,
no, Walker, 100% correct. It's okay, guys, just a blazing dumpster fire while we're watching Sunday Night Football and Tyquan Thornton catches a touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes. And here we are. And honestly, I feel like we're being punished. I feel like the universe is punishing the Patriots for 20 years of just unmitigated success, right? Our heartbreaking losses, our terrible plays, our terrible games were in AFC Championship games and Super Bowls, right? Like, we had 20 years of greatness, and we're being punished for it. And it sucks. It sucks that we're being punished for it. But like, this is what it is. And unfortunately, like, I'd like to think that they have better coaching. I want to believe that. I also don't know if I do. Like, I don't know if I feel that Vrabel is doing a great job coaching them. I don't know if he's making the right decisions. I don't love the decision to get rid of Peppers. Now, Peppers only had 2 tackles. He had 4 assists, but only 2 tackles today. He wasn't great. He wasn't flying around everywhere. But
there was one really good play I noticed. Other than that, he didn't really pop to me.
Yeah. So like, he was good, but he's not like, I'm not heartbroken they got rid of him. I wish they had kept him. I don't understand the rationale to get rid of him, but that's the decision they made, and so whatever. That's the decision they made. It is what it is. But I do question whether he really knows what he's doing. And I hope that he does, but I just don't know if he does. So I suppose we'll see what happens as the rest of the year plays out. But
one thing I will say is this: I really enjoyed Mike Vrabel's aggression today all around. I don't know if you feel the same way, but like,
I do.
I liked that they wanted the ball to start. I think they have a very clear theory here, and like what they were trying to do is set the tone from the start of the game. They want to run the ball early. They want to establish that, setting up the passing game, getting May settled into the game so that you can play from ahead, which especially in a game like this you want to do. And then like all the 4th downs today, the one that stood out to me was 4th and inches at like your own like 15 or whatever that was. And like, I saw where the ball ended up, and I tweeted, like, it's crazy, but I kind of want to go for it here when it's 4th and an inch. Like, I don't really care where I am on the field. I think my offense can get an inch. I think we can do that. And then they actually lined up and did it and got it. And it was like, okay, like, I like this. I think the guys are buying in. It's weird because like a game like this emotionally, like, it sucks. It feels like a dumpster fire. And then you like look at the stats and like, I don't know, everything that we talked about happened today. Like the Patriots kind of beat the Steelers down for most of this game, and they just time and time again refuse to actually turn that into actual points. But if those things turned into the points, if they don't turn the ball over 5 times, they probably win this game by 2 scores. Especially because like that last, like, the defense was kind of out of gas, I think, by the end when Pittsburgh ends up being the game-winning touchdown. Like, probably not in that position if you're winning for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's just like a game like this I look at and like for as much of the stuff that sucked, I don't know. I thought the game plan was what. I thought the game plan generally was good. I think my biggest coaching criticism is just like they weren't ready to start the day. Like the first two drives the Pittsburgh had, your defense has to be better. They allowed I think it was in the first quarter, they allowed 4.8 yards per carry. And the rest of the day, they were fine. The run defense locked in. No clue what happened in that first quarter. You just got to be – I think you got to be better to start the game than defensively. That I think is – other than this fumbling stuff on offense, that's probably my biggest takeaway.
I agree with you. And that seems to have been it seems for me that's a consistent problem with this team, that they just start slow. It's one of the reasons why I don't love taking the ball to start, because I just feel like, it's a situation where I always feel like you want to get the ball to start the second half. That's how I feel about it. And, and especially as the home team. Now, I will say Pittsburgh travels well. There's always a ton of Pittsburgh fans, at every away game, and there were Pittsburgh fans at this away game. But, you let the crowd cheer. The crowd is excited to start the game. Mm-hmm. Then we go on offense, now the crowd has to quiet down. Right? Whereas if they go on defense, the crowd continues to cheer and they continue to get loud. You start the game with and again, you talk about them being asleep. I thought they were asleep on offense too, because they got bailed out by a ticky-tack, I thought at least a ticky-tack illegal contact penalty.
They never showed a replay of that, so I can't give you any judgment.
It looked, the flag was insanely late. Just insanely late. And so, I thought the flag was like a 15-yard penalty on them after the fact for saying something. That's how late the flag was. People were walking off the field before they threw the flag down. It was bizarre. So people get bailed out by that, and then it ends up being a fumble.
I will say on TV, it definitely looked like May was throwing to a spot and Henry got hit, and that's why he wasn't in the spot. So I was a little confused when the flag didn't come out at first. Just visually, that's one of those plays where it's all right, well, the only there's two explanations here. One, the quarterback was so far off that the play looks totally broken, or a guy got hit illegally, and that explains the whole thing. It
looked to me like Henry had fallen down. Now, maybe he hadn't fallen down and he got hit. Obviously, I guess that's what they said. But it looked to me like he just slipped as he went into his break. But again, maybe that's not the case. And if that's not the case, then it was the right call. I just thought it was a little ticky-tack. You know what I mean?
File that for tape review. Hey, if it is ticky-tack, they did call that both ways today. Because the Alex Austin penalty, I thought was one of those that's it's bad because he put himself in a position where a ref could call it, but I also just didn't think it was enough contact to be worth.
You talking about the one on the sack?
The one in the end zone.
Oh, the one in the end zone.
He definitely grabbed him, so I can't be too mad about it. But he did not grab him that much, and the ball, he was not going to catch that ball.
Yeah, so that was a little ticky tack. I can see why they threw it, because he did grab him around the shoulder pads. I thought the one on the Milton Williams strip sack was horrendous.
Yeah, they didn't
just
really give a good
awful.
Oh, they did. Yeah, that one was bad.
Yeah, I thought that one was really bad. I thought the Marcus Jones penalty was an awful penalty, which, by the way, I believe happened on the very next play, the 15-yard penalty on Marcus Jones, where he's diving to try to make a tackle as he's getting hit, and they call him for an illegal low block or something like that. It's just stupid.
And I gotta look into the rule book to see if that's one of those technical things that they added, and it is a penalty. It just doesn't look like one when you're watching it. But that's one of those from that looks like a football play, and that doesn't look like something that should be a penalty.
So they added in, because what they're trying to get rid of is that, the offensive lineman's coming towards you and you dive at his legs to try to take out the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
They try to get rid of that. The problem is that Marcus is trying to make a play. He's trying to go tackle the receiver. He's not going low to take out the blocker. He's going low to try to tackle the guy.
Try to get under the block. Yeah.
Correct. Try to get under the block and tackle the guy. And I think that, I don't know. It was one of those ones where I just feel like that's, it was a tough call to make. And that was their second drive. So they got that penalty, they got the next penalty, and then they had the Alex Austin, the one that turned into, or the Carlton Davis one that turned into an 18-yard penalty. Should have been at best a 5-yard penalty, turned into an 8-yard penalty, 18-yard penalty. And they didn't end up scoring points on that drive. But it just felt like We're just giving them stuff. They had on that one. They had a hold on Chasen too, a defensive holding on Chasen on third down. I was like, what are we talking about?
Chasen didn't like that, but I will say this: like, I don't. Chasen, to me, is there no benefit of the doubt on this stuff because the dude doesn't know where the line of scrimmage
I
is.
agree. Yeah,
and it's like I don't know. Results matter, and I think. Yeah, you got the tough end of some ticky-tack stuff, but also you committed 12 penalties last week. You're not going to get benefit of the doubt because they're going to see you as a team that commits a lot of penalties. And a lot of these are like when you're lining up offsides, like, don't do that. Like, it's not that hard. Just don't do that. That's all I'm asking.
In his defense, he didn't line up offsides this week, but he did jump offsides.
Yeah.
That's
just like, you just can't, like, he's not a good enough player to get away with that. You either have to produce well enough that I can ignore these mistakes or not commit the mistakes. It's one or the other. Otherwise, I don't know how you can put a guy like that on the field right now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
2 weeks in a row. And like, what do you call it? Christian Ellis got pulled from this game because he couldn't play well. Alex Austin got pulled from this game after the penalties. And after they made those changes, things got a lot better.
Yeah.
The defense went a lot better after that. I will say, like, you lose a game. Like, if you lose this game because on one play Marcus Jones gets beat, on one play Carlton Davis gets beat. You're down Christian Gonzalez. Your guys get beat by their guys. So what? That doesn't want to get. If that's why you lose this game, I think you can tip your cap and say, you know what, they just got us that day, and that happens, and that's the NFL. But that's not it. That was like the only offense Pittsburgh managed all day long was those plays and some runs early on, and to give this game away, literally just handing the ball to the other team, time and time again. It's just brutal.
Well, the Marcus play, he's got pretty good defense on him. Rodgers throws a great pass to the outside. There's just nothing you can do about that. One-on-one coverage is you're just not going to be able to make that play. And I thought that, the Carlton Davis one to DK, he had great coverage on him. He had his hand in there and everything, and DK just ripped it away. I mean, that's going to happen from time to time. Corners are going to lose occasionally. That's just the way it is. But you just can't, again, if I look at it and just say defensively, how did we play? I think we played well defensively for the most part overall. Robert Spillane, I thought, played a really good game today. He played pretty well.
He had 15 tackles on a pick.
Yeah.
I will say this on the defense, because it didn't necessarily feel this way to me watching it live, but according to Next Gen Stats, the Patriots had 14 missed tackles today, according to them.
Really?
This missed tackle rate, 23.2% or 23.3% today, was their highest in a game since week 2, 2018, which was that the game down in Jacksonville? I think that was the game down in Jacksonville where they just got beat early 2018.
I don't think so. I was there watching the game. Like, I mean, I'll watch it again, I guess, but like, it didn't feel that way to me.
Yeah, I will say, early in the game, first 2 possessions, it did feel that way a little bit, and it wasn't egregious missed tackles, but it was a lot of like, oh man, like it took 2 guys to get that guy to the ground instead of 1. A lot of things like that. We didn't feel like they were giving up a ton of extra yards. Yeah, that was that game down in Jacksonville, by the way, the 31-20 loss.
2018.
But just like, I got to verify that going back myself, but not great. I want to see where Spillane figures into that because I thought he was fine today. I didn't think he was the issue. I also wonder if that's a Christian Ellis stat because he had a rough day today.
He got pulled for Mapu, right?
And Gibbons played.
Okay. That's right. And Mapu Mapu gave up. Matter of fact, the only I believe that the only 20-yard play they had, I think, was on him, was the Jonas Smith. And he just, Mapu just with just a terrible coverage on him. Yeah, just brutal.
Yeah. Also, the Patriots didn't generate any pressure today. I don't know how much I blame the Patriots for that because like Rodgers was getting the ball out as fast as he possibly could all day. And they had a sack that was called back. So it's not like they weren't getting pressure. It's just the one time they did. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet because the penalty overturned it. But they just didn't, like, Aaron Rodgers was getting the ball out fast. And like this is what we said before. Like they're not really a big play team. It's Calvin Austin occasionally down the field, and then DK Metcalf, and that's it. The rest of it's all going to be underneath stuff, and like the Steelers got just enough to get to 21 points, and even like that still should not have been enough to beat you today, but it was because you messed it up on offense. Like that's the difference. What's the I've had the yardage total going at the bottom here, but like Pittsburgh barely got to 200 yards, 203 yards on the day, 4.1 yards per play. Old Aaron Rodgers to 139 passing yards.
Yeah.
Like you can't be upset about these numbers. It was 21 points on like how many drives this one?
They had a bunch of drives.
8 drives, 21 points. It's not great, but like a couple of those are short fields. Like 54 yards. There's a 54-yard touchdown drive in there and a 62-yard touchdown drive.
Well, and again, you feel like if you keep getting stops and they keep turning the ball over, like you just feel like I'm out here doing my job. You know, to quote Mark Wahlberg in The Town, I'm the guy doing my job. You must be the other guy. Like, you know, like what are we doing here?
Well, and it's just
not The Town.
Like
I'm sorry, not The Town.
Oh,
The Departed. Sorry about that.
Yes.
My apologies.
Yeah. But the defense came in clutch. Like you start that third quarter and it's pick, which was generated because of good plays. Like it wasn't just like a random pick. Like they forced Pittsburgh into that situation, and then 3 and out. And even the next time they get sub yards before it's a punt, and it's like, all right, like after those turnovers, the defense got to stop every time. So I just can't be that upset. I mean, I think I guess the only big thing with the defense is all these possessions end in touchdowns. You can't force a field goal in there, and you should have forced a field goal in the first drive, and the Alex Austin penalty gives him a reset on downs at the goal line, and that's like plays like that. Like it's a 4-point play right there in a game you lose by 7, where you were driving late again. Like that's when you want back. Yeah,
it's just. It's unfortunate, and we talked about it before the season. Like this team was not as good as people thought, and people didn't believe us, and they called us haters, and they said you hate the Patriots, and like, no, like this is the team. They're not as good as we think. They're not as good as some people thought, and I think that we can pump the brakes a little bit on it, which we did, and what we tried to do at least, and and here we are. So. Yep. All right, you want to take a quick break, and then we'll kind of finish it. I honestly don't have a ton more to talk about. There's just
this game is simple. You outplayed the other team and gave it away. Yeah. Like there's nothing. I think we got to talk around the league a little bit. I don't know how much of the other stuff.
I actually think there's a few question marks, a few questions that people have in the chat, which I think we can chat about a little bit too.
All right.
But all right, this ad is of course for Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into real money. Okay, daily fantasy sports here, and again, all we're doing is picking more or less on at least 2 players, from 2 to 6 players. Don't go with me, guys. Just don't go with me. I had Puka right today, but I was wrong on everyone else. Matter of fact, that's not true. Aaron Rodgers, if the Patriots had won, Aaron Rodgers would have finished with more than 1.5 rushing yards, but he took 2 knees at the end of the game, and so. So there you go. So that unfortunately is the way it goes. But that's that. But for Prize Picks, right? Again, one of the things I love about them is that you can mix and match your lineups. You can, there's still baseball going on. You can put baseball. You can put football. You can put women's basketball. You can put, pretty soon you better put hockey in there as well. So you can kind of mix and match your lineup with a bunch of different sports, which makes it fun and interesting as well. There's also Flex Fridays. You opt in for Flex Fridays, and you get your money back in lineup money if that lineup doesn't hit, which is great. Okay. They also provide quick and easy withdrawals and deposits. They do Apple Pay. They do Venmo. They do MasterCard. They do a ton of other ones as well. So quick and easy, which is great. Now, what are you going to do? You're going to download the app Prize Picks. You're going to put in the promo code CLNS. When you do that, you're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's CLNS on Prize Picks. And you're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prospects. It's good to be right. Okay. So a few questions here, and I think that these questions make sense. And
we still have not talked about that last drive, which we'll have to get into. I don't know if it's coming up in any of these questions.
All right, Old Man Mob's asking about Kyle Williams getting more snaps. I do think Kyle Williams should be getting more snaps, but he isn't right now. I think after today, I can't imagine that, and we'll get into this last drive too. I can't imagine that Pop Douglas gets any more snaps. I just don't know how you can give Pop Douglas any more snaps after today. Nope. Like I don't know how you can do it. Drake May, for whatever reason, just can't get the ball to him. He had 7 targets and 2 catches in the first game. He had 5 targets again and 2 catches today. He's wide open across the middle, and I guess May thought he was going to stop and settle down into his zone, but he's by himself. I don't understand what he was doing. He had an overthrow to him where he almost got picked off earlier in the game. And then, of course, on the last play, and I just feel like Pop can't play anymore. He can't. He cannot play anymore. And so I'd like, and you've mentioned this before, put Diggs in the slot. Mm-hmm. Stick Diggs in the slot and leave him there. And then your outside receivers are Kayshon Boutte and Kyle Williams and Mac Hollins, and you move on from there.
And you give an honest 3-man rotation between those 3.
Yes.
And I guess the question for why Kyle Williams isn't playing more, hard for us to answer because I'm going to guess part of this is based on stuff happening in practice that we can't see. Probably they're trying to ease him into things. And, notoriously this Josh McDaniels system can be tough for young receivers. So, but if they're going to play with Kyle Williams at the X, things get a lot easier for him there. That's the simplest of the 3 positions that they have in this offense at wide receiver. Yeah. So, I think you have to start giving him some looks after today. Also, on the Pop thing. So, I think one of the reasons why we liked him so much, go back to 2023. The Patriots were seeing an insane amount of man coverage because your quarterbacks are Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi. They're not going to run. So, and the receivers stink. So you're just going to play man coverage, and you're not going to worry about containing the quarterback because they're not going to go anywhere anyway. So you're just going to play aggressive man coverage. And it was Pop Douglas was a guy who could actually separate from that man coverage. So he stands out. He becomes someone who you can throw the ball to. And he's a small guy with a limited catch radius. But if you let him separate against man coverage, have a point guard type quarterback who can deliver the ball very accurately and then let him run after the catch, that's a great fit for him. What the Patriots are dealing with now is essentially the opposite. You have some actual talent in the receiving room at this point. Mm-hmm. You got a quarterback who can run. So they've been seeing all zone coverage this year. So you need receivers who have big catch radiuses and who are smart and who can read the zones and settle in them and know where those soft spots are. And Pop has not been good at that. This was an issue last year. I just don't give him the benefit of the doubt on that crosser today with Drake May. May is fully expecting him to sit down on that play and he doesn't. And this has been an issue between the two of them for long enough now that I'm just going to default to the quarterback knowing what's going on there that the receiver doesn't, given Pop's history as well here. And I don't know, he doesn't have a good catch radius. And that last play is not smart football. You're an inch from the first down line. Go forward. Get as low as you can and go forward. That's how you got to play. He doesn't do it. And it's I don't know. I just don't trust him to make good decisions right now. So I don't want to put him on the field. I don't think it's a schematic thing in terms of who the offensive coordinator is or anything. I think it's just he's a certain type of player, and they're not playing those defenses right now.
And this is, well, I don't know what we're doing here. May threw a bad pass to Pop. What are you talking about? He hit him at the sticks. No, the last play, he hit him at the sticks. Catch the ball and fall forward. What are we talking about? What are you even talking? That's complete insanity. They had a free rusher off the edge. May had to get rid of it quick. He got it out to Pop. It's 4th and 2. It's a 2-yard pass. 4th and 2, a 2-yard pass. Catch it, fall forward, first down. And instead Pop catches it and goes backwards. What are you doing? You have zero awareness, and this is the problem with him. And you mentioned it. He doesn't know how to sit in his zone. How are you a receiver? You don't know how to sit in his zone? How's that even possible?
And he doesn't. I go back to literally the first series of the year, and I could be reading the play incorrectly, but against the Raiders, there's that play where May just kind of airmails it over the head of Pop Douglas and an out route on third down. And I kind of watched the playback, and I was like, it just seems like Pop Douglas runs this short of the sticks for some reason, and Mays expect him to be at the sticks. And when he isn't, that's where there's a hitch and everything. And I don't know, in this play, run your route to the sticks.
Right.
I don't know. You have to have situational awareness of where you are in the field and where you need to go. And, if he puts his head down and tries to go forward and doesn't get it, that sucks. But you can live with that. To go backwards is just unfathomable to me. Unless you are a 99th percentile athlete in this league who can get away with that and make plays. And Pop Douglas is not that guy. You got to know your limitations and what you're able to do on the field, and he can't do that.
Well, and not just that, he ran the route to the sticks. He was already turned around with his back to the defender. He catches the ball. Now just fall. Just fall backwards. That's all you got to do is fall backwards. It's a first down. Now, maybe if he fell directly down, it may not have been a first down. But if he falls backwards, it's an easy first down. And I don't. It's insane. To blame that on anyone other than Pop Douglas is completely insane. And you know who didn't blame Pop Douglas? Drake May. Because Drake May is an actual leader, and that's what he does. Right? But the thing for me is that it's 100% on Pop Douglas. Catch the ball at the sticks and fall down. How do you not know where you're at? He said after the game, I knew I was somewhere around it. It was only 4th and 2. What? You don't know? It's the biggest play of the game. You're not sure where you are? What are you talking about? How can anyone trust you with anything ever?
Yeah.
And that's he can't play. He cannot play again.
Well, especially when the guy who's sitting on the bench, whose spot you're taking, Afton Chisholm, for all the limitations Chisholm has, this is not one of them. He gets low, he uses his strength, and he pushes forward after the catch.
Right.
And
he's good against zone.
Yep. And
he's not that fast, but he's good against zone.
It's I'd rather give that a chance right now. And whoever that, I think you want to move Kyle Williams up to wide receiver 4 here, and whoever wide receiver 5 is, whether Pop stays in that or whether it's Chisholm, you just want to see less of in general. I think you want to focus on those top guys.
I agree.
Yeah. Side note, while we're talking about the receivers, Hunter Henry, awesome game for him. Austin Hooper had a great game. I just want to say there was a point in this game where I was watching it and Hunter Henry got banged up. And I'm just watching this offense, and it's man, if Hunter Henry goes down, or Austin Hooper got banged up, I think last week, and it's what do they do? Because the whole thing seems to be based out of this 2 tight end personnel thing. And I have to come back to this for myself. I was saying all offseason how May love throwing to the tight ends, and they're built to run through this. So you should draft a tight end, because both of these guys are old, someone to develop with them, so that May can develop that connection. It was I just had a little moment that was man, if they lose Henry and they also have not drafted anyone, what does this offense look like? Was awesome to see Henry look like. I was for all the complaints we have right now, I think it's worth pointing out that if they just we're not asking for perfection. If instead of turning the ball over 5 times, they turn the ball over 2 times and still lose the turnover battle, they win this football game without it.
Yeah.
So it's that. I guess that's the optimistic case here, is that for all of the things that we have outlined, if you're just able to not don't play like jerks, just play like normal football players, semi-normal football players for one 60-minute game, you're gonna win. I think that has to be the message you bring in after this, because you're gonna play a bunch of bad teams here. You're gonna have games where you make mistakes and stuff. You just have to limit it. This is what we said last week. I said, don't do 12 penalties again. All right, well, they didn't do the 12 penalties again. Instead, they replaced the penalties with turnovers. And it's all right, we can't. You just have to clean it across the board. It's too sloppy right now, and I don't think all of it's on Mike Vrabel. I can't blame Mike Vrabel for Ramondre Stevenson fumbling twice the way he did. That is Ramondre Stevenson's fault. He worked on it in the offseason. He looked good through the first 2 games, and then it comes back again. Antonio Gibson, that is Antonio Gibson's responsibility to not fumble the football. Drake May, you gotta have more awareness when you're stepping up in the pocket to not get strip sacks. That's a little bit more on the coaching when it's a young quarterback, it's pocket presence and it's things like that. But the running backs, like, I don't know, this is your job. Don't put the ball on the ground. Like this is, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's rough. It's really rough. And this is like, you just feel like all the stuff that went wrong today, and they were still in it. And they had a chance at the end.
Yeah.
And again, if Pop falls forward, and listen, if anyone is blaming that last play on anyone other than Pop Douglas, just don't listen to them. It's insane to even think anything other than that.
Well, I mean, the other person to blame that play on, it's Ramondre and Antonio Gibson, because you're not in that spot if they're not losing the ball.
Correct. Well, of course. Right. But you just feel like, and again, Drake May has the fumble, and that's just a situation where he has to sometimes you just take a sack. Sometimes just take the sack. It's okay. It's all right to get sacked sometimes. You don't have to make some crazy play. He was trying to flip it out of his. I never saw the replay. It looked like he was trying to shovel it forward. Maybe he got hit before he did that, but it looked like he was trying to shovel it forward. But again, I never saw a replay on it, so I don't know for sure what happened. My assumption is that it probably got knocked out before he was able to do that.
This is the May fumble you said?
On May's fumble, yes.
Yeah. He was stepping up and got hit. He was going to try to throw it and just got hit from behind.
It looked to me like he was trying to shovel it forward. You know what I mean? Like an underhand pass, the touchdown he threw to Pop Douglas in the first game.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. But again, I never saw an actual replay of it, so I don't really know exactly what happened. But it's tough. It's tough. And listen, the offensive line, we kind of chatted about this before off air, but the offensive line wasn't great today. Will Campbell had a rough game. Not a terrible game. They gave up 5 sacks, but I thought the offensive line was okay today, but not great. And this is a team that has stuck against the run all year long, and you couldn't run against them. It's a team that couldn't run the ball all year long, and at least in the first 2 drives, they ran all over you. So that's stuff that's frustrating.
Well, I think part of this, I'm not. The initial numbers on the offensive line look worse to me than the eye test did. So I don't want to get too deep into that until I get to watch the film. But one thing that I don't love here, week 1, you get down, you have to throw the ball a ton. You can't run the ball either. You have to throw the ball a ton. Week 3, you get down early and you have to throw the ball a ton. You're putting yourself in a bad spot here. And that's you just got to start the games better. Do you know what the first 3 games of this season have reminded me of, by the way?
Oh, God. I don't know if I want to know.
Well, I feel like we're back in 2023 because 2023 starts. You've got opener at home, rainy game, ends up being a 1-possession loss. Opener this year, rainy game, ends up being a 1-possession loss. Games where you make a lot of mistakes, overcome it to put yourself into it, and then still lose it. The one win the Patriots had in their first 3 games in 2023 was an ugly road divisional win against the Jets. That was the one that was 15-10 with a safety. They had an ugly road divisional win that was the other end of the exciting spectrum down in Miami with a lot of things happening. And then week 2 of 2023, they have a 1-score home loss to the Dolphins in the throwbacks. The game ends with them coming up just short on 4th down near the end. And it's a very similar field position to what was going on with Pop at the end there. And it's in the red jerseys. And it's, the more things change, the more they stay the same. We just can't escape this. Hopefully this is not followed up by that season. They then followed it up with a 38-3 loss at Dallas and a 34-0 loss against the Saints. So let's not repeat that.
Let's not do that. Yeah, let's not do that. The other problem for me is that when you look at what the Patriots do, you feel like, okay, the Patriots are in a good position because they start the season off with 4 fairly easy games, right? You feel like these 4 games, Vegas isn't very good, which they're not. Patriots lose that game. Miami stinks, which they do. Mm-hmm. You win that game just barely.
Yeah.
The Steelers are a bad football team. You shoot yourself in the foot and lose that game. The Panthers are a bad football team. Except they won 30-0 this week against another bad football team. They actually took advantage of bad football, which is what you're trying to do. And you were unable to do that because you played worse football. And the Panthers, who have been bad and looked bad for 2 weeks, went out and just absolutely destroyed Atlanta today. And matter of fact, forced them to bench Michael Penix and put in Kirk Cousins. That their defense was playing so well. And so that's something that, that's what I worry about.
When Atlanta went to Minnesota on Sunday Night Football week 2 and beat them in their own building. So,
Right.
I don't know if this is a bad Atlanta team. I think they're probably just an inconsistent Atlanta team. Carolina, I did not see that coming. I kind of penciled in next week as, even if it was ugly, a win. And after today, all right, I got to revisit some of my priors on Carolina here because they played incredibly well, obviously. Yeah, this is one of the things I did say, before the season, don't judge the strength of the schedule yet because teams are going to be unpredictable and it might end up being an easy schedule. I still think it'll end up being an easy schedule, but there might be a team or two that ends up playing better than you think. And based on the Saints team we saw this week, I'm not that worried about that game, even in the Bayou. The Saints look atrocious, but you look at a Carolina team. Carolina might be better than we thought they were when that game gets put on the schedule in May. And if instead of being a bad team, that's a mediocre team, well, the Patriots just lost 2 home games to mediocre football teams. You can't pencil this in as a win at all. It's probably going to be like a pick 'em.
Right.
So, and you just got to get out of your own way. And that's I guess that's still the case for optimism here. It's just if they flip a switch at some point and things click and the young players start to get it and they cut down, if you go from having 8 penalties to 6 and you go from having 5 turnovers to 1 or 2, you're able to just cut down on that stuff more consistently. This team goes from being, a bad, mediocre team, kind of in that 6 to 7 win range probably, to a team that could be in playoff contention. I still don't think they're that far away, especially with the schedule this year. You just got to stop beating yourself.
It's true.
I did have one other point I wanted to make, because we were talking earlier about balls getting batted at the line. This is one thing that Brandon Thorne talks about all the time. You see him tweet this sometimes with videos and the hashtag punish jumpers. I don't know if you've seen any of these, but one of his whole philosophies with offensive linemen is if a defensive lineman is jumping to try to bat a ball that the quarterback throws, as an offensive lineman, you need to bury him. You need to put him on the ground and punish the fact that he has left his feet. And I would just like to see a little bit more of that nastiness from the Patriots offensive line. May's gotten some balls batted this year, and Jared Wilson's guy who's athletic enough to really put a dude in the dirt.
Yeah.
I just like that. If we're talking about him taking his game to the next level, I think that's part of it.
I agree with you. I agree with you on that. That makes sense.
Clear the lanes, clear some traffic.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And Brian mentions here that the Patriots played well outside of the turnovers, obviously.
Other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Right. So, but in between there, and Drake especially, I think, when you mentioned it, I really do think Drake had a really solid game today. You need him to be a superstar, or you're hoping that he becomes a superstar, an elite player in this league. He's not there yet, but he's looking significantly better. He's looking like he's trending in the right direction to be that. And as long as he continues to grow every week, look, is he going to make every pass? There was one play where he had Pop Douglas wide open. He ran a jet motion and looked like he was going to throw it back to the left. And Pop Douglas was by himself on the other side of the field. If he just beats that guy to the sideline, he might score a touchdown. Yeah. And he just threw it in the dirt. And you're just like, oh my God, what are you doing? But you're not going to make every pass. You're not going to have every pass. Some passes aren't going to be great. It just is what it is. But as he gets further along, you're just hoping that he continues to grow. And I feel like we're seeing that from him on a week-to-week basis. We just need to see it kind of more consistently every game. And that's where we're at. So we'll kind of see what happens. Oh God, Taekwon.
Well,
I
think
I might be running a 5K in a Taekwondo Thornton jersey if this keeps up. We'll see what happens. So
I think I think it's going to be part of the May experience too. Like he's going to have probably 3 to 5 throws in a game that make you go, "Whoa, was that?" And it's just a matter of like limiting the situations, and like that's the trade-off for the fact that you can call play action bootleg with him, and he's going to outrun TJ Watt to the edge and then pick up 15 yards on the ground, and he can turn these plays that with any other quarterback are negative into explosives.
Yeah.
So I just got to, I think, want to activate a little bit more of that deep ball out of him, out of this offense. I think that would help a lot. That's something I think I want to look for next week. Yeah.
By the way, I just seen that it was actually a drop by Taekwondo. So.
Classic.
So
can I mention something from around the league?
Yes.
I don't know if you were able to catch it, but the end of that San Francisco-Arizona game today
wild
featured Mac Jones throwing the ball to Kendrick Bourne, making clutch plays to set up a game-winning field goal. And the juxtaposition of that with what Pop Douglas did on the last drive for New England, I just disgusts me. Like it's just that's tough.
Well, it also helps that the last play before the field goal, you're able to throw a screen pass to Christian McCaffrey, who was able to pick up 25 yards.
Yeah.
That helps.
But that was just one of those where it's like, man, like one of these receivers has chemistry with his quarterback and is able to make plays, and the other one is just not. So that was a little bit of a gut punch, I think, seeing that after today.
I would agree with you. By the way, Taekwondo just made an insane catch through traffic at the 1 yard line. Didn't score a touchdown, but made a ridiculous, after dropping a pass on like a diving catch, made it just an insane catch. Yeah.
You can't hear it, but like, hello, darkness, my old friend is playing in my head right now.
Oh, man. Oh, here we go. Here's the take of the night right here. Take of the night. Hunter Henry getting no rack yards, playing so soft after the catch. That's the take of the night right there. He
ran into the end zone today from outside of the end zone. Hunter Henry's not a yak guy anyway.
There it is right there.
He's a possession guy. You don't bring him in. You know who is? Can I just say something that does disgust me? Jonnu Smith. Like he making a big play against us, of course.
Yeah.
The fact that Jonnu Smith looks like this for every other team he's played for. Like he had like 100 catches or whatever in Miami last year, or something crazy. And then played the way he did in New England when he was here is, I think, one of the most revolting things to happen in like my world of football in the last decade. That like disgusts me to my core that is how that played out. I was convinced.
I was convinced he was going to be awesome.
They signed him before Hunter Henry.
Yeah,
like he was the guy. The fact that it worked out the way it did, just like the biggest misevaluation and misuse of talent this organization has had in a while. When you look at the money they invested in him, they thought he could be a true premier number 1 tight end for the Patriots, and tried to use him that way for 2 different seasons.
And they were right.
Way to make it
just
work.
Not for the Patriots.
Yeah, they did not. Whatever it is that makes Jonnu Smith good at football, they did never figured out what it was and how to put it on the field.
Yeah, I mean, being upset at Hunter Henry after this game is just I just don't. He's the only player on the Patriots offense that actually plays well outside of Drake May. I just don't understand it. Yeah. The Jonnu Smith thing is interesting. Actually, a really bad play by Mapu, who like faked like he was going to blitz and then lackadaisically got back in his zone, but then didn't cover the middle of the field, which I just don't understand how you give that back. It almost looked like he was setting him up, but then he wasn't ready for the throw. That could have been an easy interception, and instead he's just not there. I don't understand what he was doing.
Yeah, this is such a weird game from the defense because you don't give up a lot of yards, and 21 points isn't that many points. It's also only 8 possessions, so it still comes out to like almost 3 points a possession for Pittsburgh, which is horrendous. There's also a lot of short fields because of like it's just I don't know. I look at this, and it's like there's no single game I can point to where I'm like, man, like the defense really got killed that day, and yet I don't feel great. Like I don't know how to feel about the defense right now. I need to see Christian Gonzalez back is what I need.
Well, the hope is that he's back next week, which is kind of what I thought. When he started practicing this week, my thought was he'd be back next week.
Yeah.
And let's hope that that's the case.
Fingers crossed. Because they need him. And you just,
big time.
I will say Charles Woods, number 22 out there. I didn't particularly notice him when any plays, but I did notice that once he was in instead of Alex Austin, things were better. So I'll be watching for that on tape.
Yeah. So
did DJ James end up anywhere?
I don't think so. I think I'm not even sure if he ended up back with the Patriots, to be honest with you. DJ James. Let's see.
Yeah, the latest news report I see on him is that he was cut. I didn't see anything after. So he might be a street free agent right now. Also, Doug Kyde mentioned that the Patriots actually only have 52 guys on the roster right now. So they can add players. So I wonder if we see them add corner depth with Alex Austin being what he is, although Gonzalez is coming back. Probably add a running back, probably add a tight end. Like you can, if they want to look for guys and try to churn the bottom of that roster looking for talent.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I think that makes sense. So
I think that's all I got on this one though.
I got nothing else.
Yeah, I want to put this game in the rearview mirror. And I think like I said last week, whether we look at that Miami game as a gutsy win from a group putting things together or a lucky win from a group that made a lot of mistakes depends entirely on what happens after.
That's
and
it.
With the 3 games we have right now, it looks like a game where they got lucky despite making a lot of mistakes. Now,
Correct.
You obviously play 14 more games. The story is, barely even etched in pencil right now, let alone stone. So a lot of time to rewrite that narrative, but I want to see them start rewriting this sooner rather than later because this is just, it's going to kill me to watch this many mistakes every Sunday.
I agree. So we'll see. Anyways, let's hope it gets better next week. Can't get much worse, so let's hope it gets better next week.
Don't say that, Pat. Though it can get a lot worse. Than
5 turnovers?
Yeah, I was just talking about 2023 and how after they opening 3 games stretch, they
that's
lost
a
34-0 at home. That's not. Yeah, and in that Dallas game where they lost multiple players for the season due to injury, let's not.
Yeah, I agree.
Knock on wood here.
Also, I heard multiple people say that Peppers forced a fumble today. He did not force a fumble. At least as far as I know, he did not force a fumble.
He was credited on the tackle with TJ Watt on the play where there was the fumble with Antonio Gibson, but Watt was credited with forcing the fumble.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So there you go.
That's what I'm seeing now.
So, anyways. All right. Let's get the heck out of here. This is just brutal. Yeah. There you go. Hopefully your fantasy teams were good this week because it was a tough week to watch if you're a Patriots fan. So maybe you have Cam Scatterby on your bench and you feel good about the fact that Tyler Tracy is out, and and now he'll be the number 1 guy. We'll see what happens. So, but anyways, that's what we got. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for tuning in, people. We'll be back one night this week, and I don't know, go from look at that old man Mob 250 today. Let's go. There we go. Love it. Love to see it. So glad that happened for you. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Be good to each other and go.